Now, Joe Biden officially sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. And now his new administration begins with Democrats holding the majority in both chambers of Congress. So joining us right now to talk about this and what's next, we have Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego. Congressman, I want to thank you for being here with us this morning. You were at the inauguration yesterday. I just want to point that out to our viewers. Of course, these are always big moments in American history. Yesterday's, though, was even more historic with the pandemic and the increased security. So I just want to get your quick takeaways.
Well, thank you. It was a great event. I really just enjoyed it, to be honest. I was there with my fiance, and we really had this sense of relief. I think the last 4 years have been hard for some of us, but essentially, especially this year with pandemic, and then with the insurrection that happened 2 weeks ago, it's been a long, couple months, and it felt great. It felt great. It was cold. For us Arizona people, it was really cold, but it was great to see a moment in history, transition in power, a tradition that's been going on for more than 200 years. And I was proud to be there and represent Arizona.
Yeah, it's a simple thing, but it's a big thing at the same time, too. You were at the Capitol during that deadly insurrection attempt earlier this month. I want to ask you this. What do you think should happen to your fellow members of Congress if it's found out that any of them were involved in this?
Well, if any of them were involved in the kind of conspiracy level, organizing, encouraging them to come to the Capitol, encouraging them to interrupt the process, we should remove them from office, try them to the hardest extent of the law, and throw them in jail. You do not interfere with the safe, peaceful transfer of power. You do not try to overthrow your democracy. And you certainly don't threaten your colleagues. So I'm not casting aspersions on anybody yet because I want an investigation to happen. But should any of that come out, they should really be held to the highest level of judicial power possible.
Yeah, of course, we're so glad that you're okay, and obviously this could have been so much worse. I want to move on to some policy issues right now. Obviously, we mentioned how Democrats retain control in the House and now have that 50-50 split in the Senate, with Vice President Harris being the tie-breaking vote if it's needed. What are you hoping to see on President Joe Biden's agenda?
Well, number one, COVID relief. We're still going to deal with COVID both on the vaccination level, so we need to pump that up. Unfortunately, I think we're going to also be entering a dip in the economy unless we actually can rev up the economy, and I think we have to have some stimulus relief with that, and I think that includes more direct payments to families, more unemployment assistance, more rental assistance, things of that nature. We need to do that until we get out of this pandemic to make sure that we don't push ourselves into a recession. I then want to look at immigration reform. I think something that Arizona desperately wants and needs. And then also just in other areas that we have all been talking about for a while, transportation infrastructure. We have roads and bridges that are just starting to break down. I think we could also use transportation infrastructure to really invest in, good climate change legislation, such as renewable energies, things of that nature.
Okay, Congressman, would you support President Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package that he's talked about? Some of your Republican colleagues have expressed some concern about it and even saying they don't even know if it's needed. So what's your position on that?
Absolutely. Look, you don't want to undershoot when you're dealing with a pandemic and a potential recession. You'd rather overshoot, making sure the economy is going to be strong. The last thing we want is a sluggish economy. It affects working class families tremendously. We have a sluggish economy. That means they have lower savings. It takes them forever to actually get out of that. They end up being in debt for years. This is what happened after the 2008. So people are saying like it's too much. I'm not sure if it's needed. Look, this is the same people that gave a billionaires tax cuts a couple of years ago without even caring about the debt. They didn't really care about the debt as long as Donald Trump was asking for it. So now let's look at the real facts. Let's look at the numbers. In fact, is we're about to enter a very sluggish recession. We don't want to do that. We need to rev up the economy, and let's make sure we do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a balancing act of keeping people afloat, but also the price tag in the future. So I know you guys have a lot of.
That's irrelevant. Like when interest rates are this low, you can borrow money as much as possible. This whole idea that somehow we're going to go into debt is going to cause us problems. We're already in debt. The fact is, the debt that we're borrowing is at 0.025%. It's worse for us to actually have a sluggish economy than it does for take out the debt. This actually would end up actually saving us money in the long run. So all these like false ideas that somehow we're taking out huge debt is just BS.
Sure. Well, but there is a price tag to this, though, we have to point out.
It's a price tag. It's a price tag that's paid over 10 years. And the stimulus that you would actually produce for the money for the 10 years would actually repay itself versus people going in debt over those same 10 years.
Okay. Representative Gallego, we're out of time. I want to thank you, as always, for being with us early this morning. I'm hoping that you and your family are staying safe, and we wish you a happy new year. And please come back and keep us posted because, like I said, I know you will be busy in Congress this term. So thank you again, Representative Gallego, Arizona's 7th District. Thank you. Take care.